Well, this week has been filled with major headlines in the U.S. and around the world. Here's more in our Week in Review. The week kicks off with President Trump and First Lady Melania hosting the annual Easter egg roll on the South Lawn of the White House. Also on Monday,
President Trump's approval rating hits 50%, passing former President Obama's at this same point in his presidency. According to a Rasmussen poll released today, half of Americans approve of the president's work in the White House.
Moving on to Tuesday, a disgruntled YouTube user opens fire at the company's headquarters in Northern California.
I want to bring you these live images coming into our newsroom as there are reports of an active shooter at the YouTube headquarters in San Bruno, California.
Also in California, 4 Marines are killed in a naval helicopter crash in Plaster City. And a CDC scientist is found dead near an Atlanta river from an apparent drowning, almost 2 months after he mysteriously vanished. Midweek, Escondido, California votes to join the federal lawsuit in support of the Trump administration's position. California's sanctuary policies conflict with federal immigration laws just months after the state's governor signed SB 54.
This all goes back to SB 54, Senate Bill 54, which last year was signed into law by California's Democrat Governor Jerry Brown. Now, SB 54 essentially limits state and local police cooperation with federal immigration authorities.
Also on Wednesday, thousands marched to honor the late Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., 50 years after his assassination.
It's a blessed day, and the dream is continuing.
And California brothers Lyle and Eric Menendez are reunited behind bars, decades after being convicted of killing their parents in their Beverly Hills mansion. On Thursday,
it is dangerous now to be out and about at night. The public are in fear, and the police can only do what they can do.
At least 6 people are stabbed in London, adding to the wave of recent knife attacks across the capital. And a 50-year-old former Tennessee teacher pleads guilty to federal charges after initially pleading not guilty in a case which sparked a month-long manhunt when he fled the state with his 15-year-old student. Finally, on Friday, the U.S. imposes new sanctions on Russia.
That this has actually been something that's been in long consideration, that they've taken several months to consider these sanctions and talk with partners in Europe and other partners within the government to consider doing these sanctions. They say it's an overall response to the malign activities of Russia in regards to the Crimea, in regards to Syria, and also for targeting democracies around the world.
And UFC fighter Conor McGregor appears in a New York City court, facing charges of assault and criminal mischief for an alleged attack on a bus carrying other UFC fighters. Also this.
Breaking news this hour, Republican Congressman Blake Farenthold officially announces his resignation amid an ongoing investigation into sexual harassment allegations.
And finally, Chappaquiddick premieres on Friday, the movie about a young woman who drowned alone in a car driven by Senator Ted Kennedy nearly 50 years ago.
We can use your help. Call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call today.